Hello and welcome to Dario's Comic School. And today I'm glad to bring you a very good comic. And I think if you love comics or if you want to make comics, this will be a great video. So I know a lot of YouTubers say that, but stick till the end because this will be great. So before I start the video, I want to say I wanted to review this for a while now, and I will show you what the plan is. Like, as you can see, review Mike Mignola, AlienSalvation, and then I want to do painting simple and easy, like Mike Mignola, Dave Stewart, 90s Marvel, for coloring these comics or for coloring your own comics and be economic with that. And Mike Mignola, camera angles, how your comic gets that certain feel. I call it the movie feel. A certain person said, well, comics can do things movies cannot do. That is true. And we will encounter a lot of examples for that. But there is a certain thing where, as you can see, they jump here from the top, like to save their lives. They jump, and this is a very long panel. And as you can see, like, it's almost like 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, but it's one long panel. They're falling, and then they hit the water, and just things like this, like cinematic panels, or like Mike Mignola does it. There's a certain mastery of as you can see. We'll come to this, but here is dreaming, having nightmare, and then he wakes up and the color changes, and this might seem to be a normal panel, and then we get a very small panel for the detail, and then a big panel, like sensibilities like this we will talk about. And we're already 2 minutes in. Another thing, it's Saturday afternoon, or it's like 3 o'clock, and I was thinking, man, I was checking my smartphone, and I was seeing people somewhere on the holidays in bikinis and all of that, and I'm reading this comic, ready to review it, and I was doubting my choices in life. And I started reading this, and with each page, I stopped regretting, and I understood what I'm here for. And I have to say, like, this is called AlienSalvation, and it has like a bit. This guy is somehow a preacher or something like this in space. But this comic really, once I started reading, I couldn't stop reading it, and there was a cool plot twist at the end, even, like, let's say 2 plot twists. So at a certain point, once we reach a certain point, if you don't want to get spoiled, just skip it and get it. I bought this comic for 30 euros, a kind of hefty price for just a slim album like this. But this is made in the year 1993, and it's in, like, Magic the Gathering terms, you would say light plate. It is in mint conditions, or lightly loved, as you can see here. And I was thinking, do I want to spend 30 euros on this, or a bit more even? But the thing is this is from 1993. It is 30 years now. Comics like this are almost becoming collector items, or even, I wouldn't say collector items, they just get rare. And when things get rare, they will start to climb in prices. So at the beginning I was skeptical, and at the end I was saved by this comic, saved by stories. Sorry for the 4 to 5 minute introduction, but let's get into the comic. So I wanted to keep it short, but it's important that we make a thumbnail out of this. Let's see. Focus in on this. So we start the story, and we're in outer space. And at the beginning, I'm not so like intrigued by the artwork. And what I have to say is like Mike Mignola, I think, and this is an important point. There will be many important points in this video. Like Mike Mignola, I think, knew he wanted to do comics. He wanted to tell stories. He knew, because he threw everything he had in this career. And I have some comics like here, and this is Another Never. And I think this is drawn by Nicola Mari. Beautiful drawings. I think his inspiration was at a certain time Mike Mignola. But as you can see, like his lines and the things he draws are probably inspired by Mignola, but he has his own style. So Nicola Mari, for me, legendary, and also like this Not a Never. We'll come to this. And so I have also much more Not a Never and Nicola Mari store. I should review this again, but before we start a comic, we need to talk about styles. Like here we have Humberto Ramos, and he has his own style, but as you can see, very, very different. And then coloring and the faces, and sometimes like I want to say Mike Mignola picked a style, and you will pick that style too. But as you start developing your own drawing style, comic style, painting style, whatever it is, it will evolve naturally. And I think you will be influenced by some things. You will be shaped by experiences. You will be drawn to certain things. Like I am drawn to definitely Mike Mignola, the way he does the things. Like as you can see here, these scenes, the way he layouts it beautifully, background, midground, foreground, and then guiding the eye beautifully, like masterfully. As you can see, we come here, then we go here, and then we go here. It's like not just guiding the eye, it is also a very cinematic feel of the story, and that is his style. It is not like you can just adapt it. You have to resonate with it, and I do for a couple of reasons, and you can then see if this is what resonates with you too. Because like maybe your style is more an Humberto Ramos style. Maybe you want to draw more stuff that looks like this, and you have to. I just wanted to say there's no good or bad. It is just your style will evolve. You will be naturally drawn to things, and then, as I have seen comic artists progress, they start to get simpler and break it down because they have deadlines. And probably like John Romita Jr. says, he has a deadline style. It can be good. It's not always good. Mike Mignola, I think, has always delivered, although his women are not like what I would call beautifully. Like they don't give me a pump. But let's check this out. So what do I have to say about the story? It starts a bit slow, and we're kind of on the ship, and the crew is just having lunch, and then things go wrong, and something is about to destroy the ship and its crew, and yeah, that's the story so far. Here in these panels, I just can say, if you check it out, like bare bones, like we have here a bit of a background, and then Mike Mignola saves a lot of unnecessary strokes, and also the colorist. Let's check out who colored this. Pencils, colors, Matt Hollingsworth. So Matt Hollingsworth does a great job, and later Dave Stewart, in understanding how to place the colors. As you can see, we have here a muted red, a heavier red, and then we're in the rescue capsule, and then it's just shades of green. Then we're in outer space, and it's shades of blue. And make it easy for yourself. Like don't be so hard on your drawings, because comics is not pinups. This is a very important point, and this is what came across in this comic so powerfully. As I was reading it, it was every second. As I said at the beginning, I was questioning my sanity to read this and then to produce a video, because other people are taking vacations, and right now I'm just concentrating on this or doing different other stuffs. But at the end of the comic, I couldn't lay it down, and it was really plot twists and a very, very beautiful ending. So I'm not just saying stick around here, but this is a great comic, and we will find out why and how you can implement it for your own stuff. So as you can see, Mike Mignola is really, let me see if I can get this a bit more down. Mike Mignola is really making it, how can you say it? I mean, look, it's bare bones. It's just the silhouette of a man. It's everything you need. I assume he makes great layouts. He puts, I don't know how much time he puts into the layouts, but that's where the power. I think he gets the script, and then he thinks, okay, how can I show that picture? And he doesn't really deviate then later on. He shows everything. We need a bit of the sky, some creatures, background, midground, foreground, or something like this. And this is like a scene from Star Wars. And as you can see, very, very simple layouts at the beginning. Maybe he gets better by the end. I think he gets better. And as you can see, a lot of chiaroscuro. He saves a lot of time. He blacks out a lot of stuff. And I like this. I mean, look, the silhouette is right, so it's blacked out. This also, like, he saves himself a tons of rendering, and at the same time it looks really, really moody, and really, really cool. Let me see how we handle this. And also, like, the perspectives, how do I say, the storytelling, like, look, black, he just hints at the background that it's a forest. Let me see, I hope this doesn't break. Okay, this is now better. Like, as you can see, he tries to reduce his own workload. Like, he simplifies, and I would say it's really taxing, coming up with scenes after scenes after scenes and making them look beautifully. But he reduces a lot, as you can see here, and it gets the point across. We feel we don't need all the detail on this, because this just shows us that he's on the ship, and here is somehow checking for a signal if the other ship has arrived. And yeah, let me check this out. A bit of action. Here we see for the first time an alien, and very simple, as you can see, just characters. This reminded me also a bit of Charlie Adlert in The Walking Dead. As you can see, barely any backgrounds. Not that I'm an advocate for that, but I'm just telling you, I mean, check this out. They saving the backgrounds. They are just putting in the essentials to move the story forward. And that is what a comic is. A comic is a storytelling device, a visual storytelling device. And I think it's good to know what are the minimum beats I really need to make this happen, because like drawing a comic already up until this page can be very taxing to create it in your mind, to know what you want to draw, how to draw it. But Mike Mignola does it the smart way. As you can see, a lot of blacks here. And the second great thing it does, check out this picture and this picture. It is like yin and yang. Yang is the Taoist symbol for white. It is fire, it is day, it is going up. And then yin, or yang is the light, and yin is the night. It is the earth, humidity. And it gives these pictures much more weight. It gives in a certain balance. And as you can see, the black balances out the white. Believe me, it's like, you can see it also in this cover. Can you see? Like there's a lot of blacks going on and a lot of action. But if you squint your eyes, like the black here, black here, black here, kinda is balanced with all the color you see and all the white space. And that is not a quality you need to achieve in every panel, but I think it will come intuitively. And also here it helps to show a bit of claustrophobic, how do you say, like he goes into the capsule. It not only saves you a lot of time, but it also shows you that he's in a dark room working. And check out, like this is pretty bare bones. Like Mike Mignola knows he has to draw a couple of pages, and so he doesn't tax himself too much. He knows how to pace himself, and that is also a really important thing to keep your sanity, the page rate, to make it happen. And I think it's good to be an artist that can produce better work and steady work. So this is a long comic. I will skip a few things or go over them faster. But here, as you can see, like the composition, all this white, and then the blacks, and then the action, and how they're aligned, like pretty symmetrical. As you can see, the weapon is just simple shapes, and I think that is a great secret or recipe ingredients for Kirby stuff, for Mike Mignola. And I don't know if other artists have this too, but you keep it simple, you keep it kind of energetic, kinetic, and as you can see, like here, bam, coming down, and here again, also great story beats. The story is written really cool, but here check out the artwork. Like you see what you need to see. This guy gets bitten by the captain who's going crazy, and beautifully, but the rest it's all blacked out. And then again, yin, yang, blacked out, background, midground, foreground coming forward, like beautifully made. You have like a vanishing point coming to this place. And yeah, for the coloring, you can see for yourself, but it is pretty simple. And also like the camera movement, I think when Mike Mignola was creating this, he thought, okay, what are the minimum beats I need? I think he thought about each page, and he thought, okay, what can I do here? What can I show here? How can I align the panels? And just great work. And here we come to the next segment, and check this out. He's drawing now the jungle, and look out at the figure, how the figure looks like. This is just like almost like a stick figure. And the jungle is not, it's not a million freaking details that will, well, you will never finish that page because like it's just too taxing. But as you can see, the economy he puts in, he kind of, we have here some strokes, we have here all the blacks, we have some insects in the foreground, and I love also like he layouts his panels like in these long panels and in these shots, and then this guy waits a second, prays again, very simple, and then here we see something lurking in the shadows, very economic, and this guy grabs his gun and shoots an innocent ape because he doesn't know. As you can see, again, no backgrounds, just the action, just the storytelling beats, bare bones. And I think I will copy stuff like this for my comics, so I do not get exhausted, because I've heard a comic artist say the past few days, somebody asked him, how do you do comics? And he said, don't do them. They will leave you heartbroken and lonely and broke. And I can relate to that, but this is the comic school. We're not giving up here. We're trying to make it happen, and we're searching for ways to make it happen. And yeah, I will check out here. Beautiful panel. The coloring and the camera angles also very important, but we will look for that in a different video. But check out the colors, like just bare bones, as you can see. Again, silhouettes, basic colors. The guy finds the mothership that crash landed on the planet, and he's running towards that, and then he sees it, and as you can see, like bare bones, but very beautifully, very, very cool. And I have to say, I love John Romita Jr. when he tells stories. I love Frank Miller. I love Mike Mignola. And those three names, and also like Nicola Mari, and those 3 to 4 guys, they just tell a good story. The story is fun. I have to reread The Crimson and how it holds up and how good it is. But sometimes I love great drawings, but I'm more the guy that loves to read a great story. And so I will skip this page, nothing very important here. And then he kind of sleeps and he goes into a nightmare. And as you can see, like the color changes. Again, very simple coloring, pretty cool. And what I loved here was that when he awakens, like just how Mike Mignola does the pages, as you can see, kind of beautifully drawn, but look how small this panel is with a hand. And I love this, like how Mike Mignola does the panels, how he layouts these things. Then we have, I mean, tell me that this doesn't look like a movie or an animated movie, or you know what I mean? I mean, I have the feeling I'm looking at a screen. Then this guy looks up. He thinks he has a religious experience. Again, no backgrounds. The rest is black out, but beautifully this hand, like reaching out, like trying to understand what he does, like expressionistic hands and faces, and just the energy and focus Mike Mignola puts, like goes all just in important pieces. It's like going to the gym. He's not fooling around. He's not warming up for 10 hours and then not hitting the important muscles. He concentrates on what brings the results. And then we get the girl, of course. He doesn't draw the hottest babes, but very, very efficient. Background, midground, and how he guides the eye and the vanishing points. And as you can see, beautifully drawn, beautifully silhouettes. He takes his time to lay out what he wants to show us. Like that is where his energy goes, and I think that is where it is well spent. But then on the drawing and rendering, he keeps it simple, so he's able to turn out, I mean, look, this is what we've read, and then this is what comes. And now comes like the big, beautiful action scenes. Let me see if I can get this a bit more down. And this is like, again, we see the woods, and check this out. Again, almost stick figure quality, but he introduces the characters, like, before he does something like this, he almost, he shows us where we are, where our characters, and they are well proportioned, so we are always the feeling we're right in the action. Everything looks very realistic, feels realistic, so he doesn't have to enforce this with realistic drawings. He just needs to create an illusion, and look what an illusion. Like, can you see this? Like, he saves a lot of time, and at the same time it looks just amazing. Let me put this down on the table. Can you see this? Like the silhouette, and here we get just a light. They see some creatures coming, they are hunted by something, and then check this out. Also the pacing, like, this is why we're taking a look at great storyteller. Like, here's the action, then there's the tree, and then there's nothing, and there's room to breathe. Like, we have time to feel what's going to happen. No background. And then we see this creature following this, and then we get like the money shot. It's good enough, it's beautiful, could be done even better, but again, he's not taxing himself. And then here it goes into black, it fades into black, and again here, this yin yang, here we have light to light, then we see the black creature, and then something happens. I don't know if this is intentionally or not, but we know something bad's coming. So you can definitely learn from other comics, and definitely learn the language or steal a certain things or implement it. And here we have also like the beautiful structured creature of the alien with his bloody mouth, and then again, time to breathe, stand off. We know something like this is, these are beats that create, how do you say it, so suspense, and then they shoot it, and then look at this gun. This is so beautiful. It's just like the shapes are so bare bones, but we're in there, we're in the action, and we're fighting with them. And then look at this, like, beautiful panel, but it's nothing fancy. Like, can you see this? This is just silhouettes. I think he's drawing his layouts, and he's not really trying to improve on them, because the layouts are good enough. They tell the story, and so probably if you got a good story, it's important to have great layouts or good layouts that work, and then try not to tax yourself too much while drawing the pages, or the comic will never come together. And I think at this point, he knew he wanted to do a bunch of stories. This is what he wanted to do. And he wanted to become probably indispensable, like irreplaceable. This is also something he maybe consciously or unconsciously in his mind programmed. And this is a beautiful panel. I love this. This is like, sure, you can't do this in a movie. This would be a wide shot, and it is a wide shot on the comic, but look, this is the panel. And then they crash in the water, they touch, and for a second, like, I think they kind of fall in love somewhere here, and then they're trying to find the mothership. And look at this, like, beautiful, very, the comic or the graphic novel stays very economic. This also very beautifully, because like he's hiding here, and it's almost like you have different panels in the panel. And look at the colors, look at the color, look at the camera angle. We're checking from this guy to this, the vanishing point comes from here. We see this girl walking, and like barely, like, I don't know if you need much anatomy to do this, but you need anatomy to do this, because he thinks then that for a second they touched, and something like, he's a preacher, but he doesn't want to be tempted by the flesh. And also very beautiful page. She comes back to him. beautifully drawn. Check out the face in the foreground, his stuff, how he does the curls beautifully, like blacked out from this side. Beautiful silhouette, and then just nothing in here. Just the woman talking, and then they go for the action. Like very, very bare bones. You can learn a lot from this. But again, it has to be or must be your style. If it's not your style, the main lesson is search for your David Finch, for your French album, for whatever it is that gets your juices flowing, and just acknowledge that that is your style. Soak everything up that you want. Try to find out what you need, and then make yourself a comic project and start working that. And the more you do, the more mistakes you will do, and the more you will know, what do I have to improve, what do I have to change, what do I really want, do I want to continue in this style, is it too much work, am I changing? When I was starting out, I was very Mike Mignola and very Frank Miller-esque, and it was too little for me. I wanted more, like a panel like this, where aliens get blown up. Sure, this works. It works also to make to hit the deadline and to pay your rent, but it doesn't really work artistically for me. Not that I wouldn't do it, but it's just not enough for me. This is also not enough for me. This is genius though, because like he's running and like just the silhouette, and then he doesn't see the wire, and then he trips. And that's just great stuff. And so from here on, we're reaching like the end point of the story, and I don't want to spoil too much. I just want to say, check this beautiful stuff out, and how we go from terror and horror red to fighting in the fire. As you can see, very basic, the colors, just beautiful inks and ink lines, and then basic color to help the story. And he falls then into the mothership. Beautiful silhouette. And from here, if you don't want to get spoiled for the ending, end this video, get the comic, read it, and then return. Because here is where we encounter the queen, and the queen pops out the face huggers. I don't know, a bit inconvenient. Like she lays the eggs infect the people create aliens. It is a bit ineffective, but okay. Beautifully, this also, like, check this out, all black. I would say black and white, and then added with a couple of colors. And this is where Mike Mignola then for the ending really shines. As you can see, like this beautifully, it looks very cartoony, but also very realistic. Just basic shapes indicating where we are, what's happening, and just the motions just fit. Like, look, he's running, and that is what his what he captures the best. It helps the story that we know, okay, and then he enters the main, I don't know, the main ship, and he finds the woman, and spoiler, she's an android. And he finds out, he asks her why were these creatures, those demons on our ship, and then she tells him, he touches her, and he knows that she's not a human, and he's fighting because he caught some feelings for her, and she cared for him, and then he touches her, and there's an element, okay, she's not a human, but let's treat her like a human. And then aliens start showing up, as you can see, just a few. They know where he is, and she says, well, the military wants those creatures gone, but the company wants them as bioweapons. And then he said, well, why did you come back from me? Why did you save me? And a lot of more aliens are showing up. Beautiful panel. Look at this, like very bare bones, but the mood is so great. Like, check this out. Like, how could you do this better? This is a great question. And then she says she came only back for him because, like, if there's no human survivor and she doesn't count as a human and she's also dying, it's just salvage. Whoever finds it can keep it, so it would be a loss for the company. So she had to find a human and keep him alive, so the mission would be accomplished and no one else could capture like the bioweapons, the ship, everything. And so he knows, he says, dear God, and she says, pull yourself together, come on, you're paid to do a job. Yeah, he finds his humanity. What is she saying? She says, patch me up, valuable property, you're still company employee, may you mean a bonus for you. And he says, money. That was all this was about. And he grabs her and she says something about orders, and then he lights her up, and this is where the comic gets even greater. So spoiler number 2. He recalls himself that they were all puppets, and Satan was like the company, and this is a beautiful panel. And so aliens are starting to come in. Look at this, very simple, very beautiful. Here it's already oozing through, and so he's trying to kind of destroy every alien, because like he knows now that the company wanted the ship, wanted all these creatures. Beautiful, beautiful action right here. Look at this, like Mike Mignola has now a pump, and he's now destroying the alien queen with a bunch of grenades, and he's entering the ship, and he starts the self-destruction program, and he prays for salvation. He knows he cannot defeat the devil or evil, which is the company, or what's happening here. Alien are getting through him. This reminds me a bit of The Edge of Tomorrow, the ending. And then he's sitting there, he's praying, T-20, -7, -2. The alien gets to his head and he says only, forever. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. He prays for salvation, and then everything blows up. And beautifully simple. I mean, check this out. I mean, just a white panel, just a flash, just boom. Sure, this could be done maybe better, but like, look at this. Like, and then I don't know how big the explosion is, but it seems to wipe out everything on this planet. I don't know how it does it. Would have been cool to say that it's strong enough to wipe everything out, and then it's just gone. And then a different ship arrives after 4 years and is trying to salvage anything, but finds nothing, and that's the end of the comic. And it may seem a bit underwhelming what I've told you, but I assure you, while I was reading this and I didn't know anything of it, it started a bit like meh, and then it got better by every page, and like the female bishop hits it home, and then his conclusion to blow up the ship and sacrifice himself, and just a very, very, very solid piece of art, a very solid story. I know comics today have to kind of measure up with a lot of things today, PC games, tablets, a lot of places you can go, but 1993, Mike Mignola, Kevin Nolan, everybody who worked on this book, I think this is a piece of art, and it is very simple. The story is very simple, and the art is very simple, and I think that is part of the genius. You cannot subtract. This is essentialism. We see us.